Hamish, we didn't know what to expect. I don't think we expected quite what we got, but one thing we know for sure, this is a very exciting footy club, and it's going to be a very excited town this week, and the build-up will be fabulous.
I was just speaking to the Adelaide Crows media managers, and there was some talk that the advertiser was going to run a 42-page spread in the build-up to the grand final. That's not a number that's made up. That was being discussed outside it. It highlights what it means to this town, this club.
Yep, no, absolutely, and it's one of their biggest moments to win a preliminary final in Adelaide.
And how quickly things change and how different right now these two clubs are. One is looking ahead and thinking of a third grand final and a third premiership from a third grand final. The other, 2 hours ago, was thinking about what could have been. But for Tommy Lonergan and Andrew Mackie, their last game has been played, nothing ahead. Lingy's going to go down and speak to those two about a career that's in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, absolutely, Haynes. So, Adelaide, first team into the grand final, been top of the table for most of the year, heaviest scoring side. We know one thing for sure, whoever they play against next Saturday at the MCG is going to have to kick a lot of goals, because that's what this team do. Good on you, mate. It's over to you.
Thanks, Bruce. Terrific call. Well done. Bruce will be back on Monday night. Brownlow medal, but right now, I assume Wayne Carey and Cameron Ling, these are the minutes and possibly the hours that you get to enjoy before it all gets serious again.
Yeah, no doubt about that. As we said, they knew they were going to a grand final, well into that last quarter, but when the siren goes, there is an element of relief and obviously excitement knowing that, all of these boys are going through to their first grand final.
Yeah, absolutely right, Duck. It's a great feeling because in about, probably not even a couple of hours' time, in about half an hour, 45 minutes' time, these players are going to switch straight over to, OK, I've got to recover. What are we going to learn from this one? What have we got to do next week? But for this brief period of time, they can enjoy it exactly like Eddie's doing right now in front of a home crowd, adoring fans, and all the staff, the coaches of the Adelaide Football Club would be so proud of what their team's delivered this year, what they've delivered tonight. And they're going to belt out this song as soon as they get down into the rooms, and they're going to have that moment of just exhausted relief and happiness that they are going to be playing on the MCG in that one big day. Unfortunately for that man, Brodie Smith, he'd have mixed feelings because he would be so happy for his teammates, so proud of his great mates, but just deep down, hidden away, he'd be shattered that he couldn't be part of it all. But obviously a selfless type of person, was never going to let it be about him and how disappointed he is. He was always going to be there for his teammates, and that's been the attitude of the Adelaide Crows all year. And that's what they're playing for, Haim.
You almost don't want to look at it, Duck.
It's
not until it's yours.
No, exactly right. It's look, it's incredible. You can't explain, Lingy, can you, the feeling that they're having right now to get through to the grand final. I often say, and we said it before the game, that prelims are often harder to win because you just want to get there. You just want to be there on grand final. Grand final day, anything can happen, but you've got to get there first, and they're there.
And you often play tight and nervous in preliminary finals because you are so desperate to be there the following week. But the Crows didn't play like that early. No. They set this game up with just that brilliant first quarter, and there was no tightness. It was just pressure, create turnovers, and they went bang with the ball in
there.
There
was no sluggishness, was there? I mean, they came out fired up. They were clean. Their ball use was absolutely brilliant. We spoke about how their efficiency, how they hit targets. Geelong weren't able to hit targets early, and this side was.
They were faster, they were cleaner, they had options all around the ground. There were no holes anywhere. 6 goals to 1 opening term, 35 at half-time. I mean, that's he and Mitch McGovern. You just can't believe 2 constants for the side. And for the first time in almost 2 decades, they get to the final game of the season. They won't be a part of it.
Rory, get in here, son. Do you want to be in a minute? No,
gusto.
Respected by our foes. Woo! Aberration of the nation and determination should with the pride of South Australia, with the mighty Adelaide Room.
Down here in the Adelaide Rooms, and they belted that song out, unbelievable. As you could hear and see there, Big Sauce Jacobs and Rory Sloane getting amongst it there. Text going around. I've seen Don Pike here earlier go up to Brodie Smith, and you can see, I don't know whether the camera can get a shot over here at the moment. You can just see, here's the camera just here. Might try and just get a shot of Brodie Smith just there, if you can, just on the crutches just there. And all of his teammates getting around him, of course, which is a very emotional thing. I saw him and Don Pike embracing before. And there are hard luck stories with every grand final, of course, and this and perhaps the McGovern one is going to be interesting to see how that plays out as well. I have heard the hamstring is a little worse than perhaps we were thinking, so it may be that two players are very, very unlucky in missing out. You can see the players going in for their after-game meeting. That'll be a 5 or 10 minute process. You see McGovern there before as well. So they are all there. Huge crowd in the rooms here, as you can see. Plenty of people, waiting media over there. A lot of the reserve players there. You can see McGovern in amongst that as well. So they're all there. So we're going to come back. We're going to enjoy this. They'll be a good 7 or 8 minutes in that meeting in there, I would have thought, working out how they're going to handle next week. We'll be back here very, very shortly, speaking to everybody that we possibly can in the rooms.
Thanks very much, Brian. Just take us into the rooms after your first winning prelim, Duck.
Oh, it's excitement. And as you said, Lingy, unfortunately, a lot of excitement. They've run around the ground. They've been celebrated by their supporters. Unfortunately, it's about 20 minutes from now. They'll go into that meeting. Don Pike will say, well done, boys. We're into a grand final. Enjoy it. In about 20 minutes' time, you click straight over to saying, well, now we're in a grand final. Now we have to start preparing. And we've got that's the game now that is in front of you, and that obviously you want to win more than anything in the world.
It's that brief, is it?
It is that brief, because they know they've got unfinished business. It's next week that they want to be feeling like that, and then they can celebrate it for weeks after that. The coach will have a big role to play in that meeting, just as you said. It's telling them to enjoy it and then saying, OK, this is what we've got to do. Also, the GM of footy and a couple of the other staff around will have important roles now to roll out what the logistics of the week is going to look like. Obviously, they've got Brownlow Medal Night. They've got the grand final parade, when they're going to come to Melbourne and prepare. So that's all done for them, so the players can ignore all of that and then just concentrate on what they've got to do, which is training as well as they can. First of all, recovering, training as well as they can, and then going out and playing good footy. You don't want them worrying about tickets. You don't want them worrying about grand final parades, anything like that. Some really other strong key figures in that football department will take care of all of that.
Their phone in about 30 minutes when they actually get out of the room, and then they're allowed to turn their phones on, will be going absolutely berserk. They'll have cousins they didn't realise they had, and they'll be asking for all sorts of things.
Blokes they can't remember from school.
Especially tickets. There'll be, you get a lot of those phone calls.
It's a pretty special time. Not one Crow has ever been and played in a grand final.
It's quite incredible, isn't it?
Amazing. We'll take a break. Don Pike, Chris Scott. We'll talk with the players. Brian's just going to go roaming. It was an unstoppable performance from the Crows tonight. They didn't allow the Cats to get into the game. They're going to get an opportunity to win their 3rd premiership. They're 2 from 2. The Crows will play the Giants or the Tigers next Saturday afternoon. Well, the contrast. Geelong, season over, reflection tomorrow, disappear from the club within about 72 hours and think about 2018. And for the Crows, well, the hype and the excitement's just getting rolling. Hard to believe what the players will be thinking and feeling now. Brian, let's... Oh, Brian.
Oh, let loose, Brian.
Oh, Brian. Where are you?
Very noisy in here. This is the corporate room that's next door to the players' change room, so they can see through the glass. As you take a bit of a spin around here, you can see most of the crowd here. So this is a corporate-only room. Can you believe? The noise in here is unbelievable. But this room is run by the great Tony Modra. So it is. I'm likely to knock one of these blokes over in a minute, so we'll get out of there. And so that's in there. So that's the corporate room that Tony Modra runs. Let's go into the Adelaide Crows room, which is just here. You can see a few people starting to mill around, but we'll come out here now and just have a look inside here if we can. And big Josh there on the left-hand side. He's very happy with what's going on. Let's see. I might go over here. I can see Leighton Hewitt over here, so come with me, and we'll try and get hold of Leighton over here, who's, of course, our Davis Cup captain, and they went down last week, and he's here right now. Leighton, what are you thinking right at the moment?
How proud I am, not only of the players, but the collective group. You know, there's such a high standard with the culture of this football club for so many years. The adversity that they've had to come back from the last few years as well. All these guys at this football club deserve this, and they've given themselves an opportunity next week.
Yeah, the opener tonight that you voiced for us, the word resilience, they have been incredible in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. That defines what this team really is all about, and the way they've bounced back and kept doing it, especially the last couple of years, I couldn't be prouder. You know, they deserve to have this opportunity, but you know, now they're in with a good chance too.
Have you booked a ticket to Melbourne?
Oh, I live in Melbourne, so I had to book my flight down here this morning. So, no, a lot of fun today.
Is this your young fella?
Yeah, my young fella. He loves Rory Sloane, so he's got the number 9 on his Guernsey there. So
don't worry about that. Can he hit a tennis ball?
He loves his sport, so tennis and footy. So
good on you, Leighton. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Leighton Hewitt, one of our greats, Davis Cup captain, of course, here as well. Might have a chat with the CEO, Andrew Fagan. Congratulations. You look a little sort of stunned.
Well, I am stunned. Look, it's just I'm really proud, actually, really proud of the boys. It's a great performance, and you know, after 15 days off, you sort of hope they're going to start well, and they did that, and to perform as well as they did in front of 53,000 of our passionate supporters was just fantastic. So really proud of the footy club.
Yeah, record crowd. Tell me, all 4 clubs competing in the prelim final do all their preparations for grand final week as a matter of course and a matter of planning. Logistics for this week, what are they looking like?
Yeah, obviously plenty, so there won't be too much sleep for those on the administration side. Look, obviously we've got the Brownlow event that we'll hold here on Monday night. We'll have a session for our fans here at Adelaide Oval on Wednesday morning, so it'll be a couple of hours for the supporter base to come out. I imagine we'll get a pretty big crowd here at Adelaide Oval then. And then we'll be back here on Sunday, post-grand final, win, lose or draw, to hopefully celebrate a really good week. So, look, and in between there's just everything that we can do to support the boys and give them every chance to be well prepared for Saturday afternoon.
You are very, very excited. I can tell you're about to explode.
I am. Well, I was exploding right throughout the course of that game. So, look, we said that they started well, they continued, right throughout, and said I couldn't be more proud of them. And look, proud of Pikey. He's prepared them really well, not just this season but last season. It's been a tough journey. We know about what's happened at the footy club, and to come through and now make a grand final is fantastic. But we all know that that's only halfway. So we'll be doing everything we can to finish it off next week.
Well done, Ed.
Good on you. Thanks, BT.
The CEO of the Adelaide Football Club, Andrew Fagan, and the coach here, Don Pike. Pikey, congratulations. How are you feeling about it?
Oh, fantastic. Boys were super tonight. I thought just their effort and energy from the start was really high, and we had a few little glitches along the way, but overall, really, really proud of them.
You're right about the energy. It was absolutely explosive, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it was amazing. The atmosphere out there in itself, 53,500, screaming Adelaide fans, which was, you could hardly hear yourself. I was trying to talk to one of our guys on the bench downstairs, and he couldn't hear us, that was that loud. So first couple of goals really set him off, and, we ended up with great support.
Is McGovern going to get up, do you reckon?
Don't know. I've spoken to him before. He's obviously got a bit of work to do, but, he's got an incentive now, so I expect he'll get give himself every chance, and we'll see how he comes through the week.
I saw you embracing Brodie Smith. There's a hard luck story every grand final, isn't there? But it's so sad.
Yeah, it is. And a guy who's played, I think, 100-odd games out of probably 105, I think, or maybe even less than that in the last 3 years. So, yeah, look, it is sad for Brodie. And look, there'll be other guys who miss out on the side next week who will have been really important in our journey so far. And for all the guys who miss out, I hope they feel as part of it. It's always hard. I know if you don't plan it. But, you know, it's important that we recognise everyone in our squad and our team that's helped us get to this point, and we've got a great opportunity.
Well done.
Cheers, thanks, sir.
Don Pike, very happy coach there as well. You can see over here Andrew Dillon, of course, the legal counsel for the AFL, one of the big bosses there in charge of footy as well. He's down here. I saw Patrick Keane before. They are all here at the moment, and we're going over here, I think, to see someone over here. May well see Richie Douglas here. He's here with us. Hey, Richie, who you got here, mate? Introduce us to the family.
Brody Smith's old man. It's not my old man, but he drinks as much as my old man. He's a ripper.
And who else is here?
All of Adelaide's here, Brian. It's a great feeling at the moment. My family's over there, so obviously got Fitzy. You've talked to him, I'm sure. But no, it's great. It's a great feeling. We're pretty stoked to get over there next week and going over to win.
Well done.
Thanks, Brian.
Richie Douglas. Andy Otten over here, who came into the side, of course, Andy. I don't want to get... Who's this, mum and wife?
Dad and my brother drove over today from Melbourne, and then my beautiful fiancée, Emily, as well.
So you drove all the way from Melbourne today?
Yeah, we drove 6 a.m. from this morning. Well, I came from 5 because I live in Frankston, so it took us 9 hours. It's been awesome.
It's unreal. And into the side, looks like you're probably going to stay there given the injuries and where they're at.
Oh, yeah, I found out Wednesday, so I was pretty pumped, so I told the parents, and it was a bit late to get a flight, so I had to do the hard work and drive over. But, you know, come in, I just had to play my role. Super pumped to be out there in the prelim, you know, in the grand final next week, 1 more to go.
What do you make of him in the grand final?
I'm very, very excited. It'll be wonderful. He's worked so hard for the last 10 years and he's really stood up today and he's done well.
Well, there they are, the entire clan. Well done. Good on you, Andy. Well done. Thank you, mate. Fitzy, in a sentence, sum that up, mate. In a sentence.
I've lost my voice, BT. This is the greatest. I love this club to death. I reckon this team's better than the 97-98 team. They just played out of their skins tonight, and I'm so confident about next week.
You're going to cry.
Mate, I'm welling up, BT. I love this club. We fly as one.
Thanks, Fitzy. Matty Crouch, just here he is. Matty, congratulations, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Wow, you're in.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I think when the final siren went, I couldn't believe the feeling out there. So the crowd was massive. It was a big occasion and we delivered, so it was good.
Not one of you has played in a grand final. Your coach, of course, played in 3 of them. I guess you're going to draw a little from him.
Yeah, we haven't, so it'll be all new for us this week. So main thing is to embrace the week and really enjoy it.
What about the improvement from you and your brother this year? I mean, I think it was Justin Reid said that this club is going to have to grow organically if players continue to leave, and you have through both of you guys.
Yeah, I think everyone in the midfield, it's not just me and Brad. I think Hugh Greenwood and boys like that. Richie Douglas has had a great year, so I think everyone's sort of chipped in and done well. So I think our contest stuff tonight was great, and we've been really good in that area.
Well done.
Thanks, Brian. Cheers.
The Crouch brothers doing an absolutely sensational job. There's Tommy Lynch there. Everything goes through Tom. Nothing goes forward without going through Tom. He gets it done. Daniel Tarley here doing a little interview with a local journo as well. So he's a really important player in terms of playing on the tools of the opposition. Let's go and see who else we can find. You can see, just come down here. You can see the leading player manager in the business, of course, down here. Have a look. There he is. He's on his phone in the white shirt in the corner there. Have a look at the big buff head. He's standing here and he's on his phone, and we've been honing in on you. What do you got to say, Ned, about your young fella playing in a grand final? You played in one, now he.
Very good result, Brian. Just keep a lid on it. All good.
Don't keep the lid on it. Give us the honest truth, Dad, about Jake.
Amazing. Unbelievable. Very emotional. It's good, Brian. Very good.
That's all he's got to say. Rory, can we grab you for 1 sec? Here's Rory. He was absolutely explosive in the game. You had a ripper.
Thanks, BT. No, it was good to win. Good to win, mate, like that.
Who have you got here? Any family, or are these just crazy friends?
Just a couple of my schoolmates came for the 100th. So.
Which school did you go to, Rory?
Scotch College, Science Park.
Okay, and what are these guys? What are their names?
Sean, Nick, Robbie, Will and Lockie.
What was that signal you're doing there? That was the good guy energy. Good guy energy. He's right into it, all these blokes. Have a look at him. We love the good guy energy, if that's how you say it. I'm not sure how you actually say it. You can see a lot of the girlfriends and boyfriends and partners along here as well. Hugh Greenwood is here with us. Is this Dad?
Yeah, it's the Sticks here. Yeah, it's old man here.
Don't these two look alike? Have a look at the bonces on these two. Gee, you look younger than him.
I am.
What's your name?
Everyone calls me Sticks.
Sticks. And you're proud of your son, Sticks?
Absolutely. Incredibly proud.
Wow, look at you two. And what do you think?
Yeah, it's all a bit surreal. Mum's bawling her eyes out, so I got the keys first. I shouldn't go sit in the car. But, I mean, 2 years ago, I never thought I'd be in this position. So, incredibly blessed, incredibly humble, and very excited to be a part of this footy club.
A ripper first year for you. I think you played 13 games?
14, yeah, I think so. A couple of rests too.
And you weren't happy about one of those rests. You really didn't want to as a young player. You just want to play every game you can, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. You want to play every game you can, but at the end of the day, you're not going to argue with the coach. As long as he puts you back in the next week, which he promised me, I wasn't complaining. So it's all worked out for the best.
Well done.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well done, Sticks. Good on you. Cheers. Have a look at those two. Talk about pea in a pod. Absolutely unbelievable there, as we can see here now. And I might just go. Who's this young fella belong to?
Max, it's my wife and I.
How old's this little baby?
5 weeks.
Give us a look at that. That is bliss. Grand final there, as you can see. Just here. It's Jake Kelly here. We might just tune in here. Jake's just in his jocks. What's your name? Who are you working for?
Lee for AFL Media.
AFL Media, fantastic. What are you asking, Jake?
I just asked him about his great season he's had after not missing and obviously not playing a game last year, so...
Are you comfortable when you're interviewing a player that's almost in the nude?
Speedos.
Speedos, but Jake, put some pants on.
Oh, well, I was getting a shower, so...
It's all about keeping an eye level, BT.
Jake Kelly there. Interesting stuff. Daniel Tallow over here. All right, we might go over here now and see Steve-O. Have a look at Mark Soderstrom standing over in the background, our main man here. Here he is, look. You look like you want to say something. Just in a sentence, sum it up.
BT, very excited here. This city is going to go mental over the next week, no doubt about that.
Mark Soderstrom. And very elongated tonight, he was. Soders, let's get over to Steve-O. What do you got for us, Steve-O?
Well, I do have some pants on, which is a start, and feeling pretty fresh as well. Hamstring for Mitch McGovern, I think, is the big story. I don't think he's going to get up the inside, Marl. Is that once he did the hammy, he knew he was gone, and Otten, I think, has known. He said since Wednesday, I think Mail is even since last Saturday that he was playing, so you'd think that Mitch McGovern's going to be the heartbreak story. BT won't get up with that hamstring. The other highlight tonight was that hit in the second quarter, wasn't it? Sloan on Dangerfield. It was massive. Some of the social media people are actually saying Sloan might be in trouble for this, which is ridiculous.
Really?
The ball was there. I mean, it was...
Let's have a slow-mo here.
That's... I mean, he had to go for the ball, didn't he? It went past him. But
that is just defending yourself, putting your arm up to protect yourself, I reckon.
No problem whatsoever. Of course, Danger got up and played on. Not an issue at all. News at Geelong, of course. Daniel Menzel, BT, his future up in the air. Didn't have a great game tonight. Was okay the week before, of course. 1-year extension on offer at a cut rate. You'd think he'd go somewhere else, perhaps to Freo. And you mentioned Motlop during the telecast as well. He has to be endowed as well, you would think.
What about Adelaide? I'm hearing that on Monday, when trade talk starts, that deal is basically done.
Well, the whispers are it's done. Incognito, Brian. Undercover, if you like, and maybe some framework has already been set in place, and there will be an announcement very early in the trade period that Adelaide to Geelong just about done and signed off, Brian.
Just a little story tonight. It's not that newsy, Steve-O, but Jake Kelly lives with a board member over here for Adelaide. Patrick Dangerfield arrives in the state, sends his wife and their newborn baby George to live with the board member who also lives with Jake Kelly. The baby cried for 24 hours. Jake Kelly, no sleep, thanks to Patrick Dangerfield.
Adelaide board member, what's he thinking? He's giving Geelong a chop-out, Brian.
Move on.
And I've just had a mate text in. He's tried to get a flight from Adelaide to Melbourne Thursday, Friday next week, Brian. All booked out. You cannot get on an airplane to Melbourne.
You're going to have to drive.
You're going to have to put extra flights. You're going to have to drive like the Otten family, BT.
Absolutely.
And sad news with Lonergan. He's retired. Obviously, he can now eat as many sausage rolls as he likes. And I'm sure he'll get stuck into a few jumbos tonight, Brian.
Well, big night, Steve-O. It's just electric down here. The feeling is fantastic. They haven't shied away from it. We've let everyone in the rooms, haven't they? And it's a really good feel about it.
Leighton Hewitt in the rooms too. His son Cruz, a gun tennis player and a handy footballer, Brian.
Yeah, and of course the Adelaide Crows have been wonderful in letting us in. Ian Shuttleworth and the media team here. You can see them all doing their job very, very diligently in the background. Thank you to the Adelaide Crows for being the most accessible club in the competition. I think we're done, Steve-O. You've got one more.
We're done. That's it, Brian.
Back to you guys.
Steve-O, BT, thanks for bringing it all to life for us.
Thank you.
Great night. BT, I mean, does Rome without any real journey, but he gets to all the destinations. I don't know how he does it. No tom-tom.
No.
But he did give us a good feel. I mean, Hugh Greenwood's mother's going to go and have to sit in the car and just cry by herself to console herself. And Craig Kelly, who we know pretty well, he's as tough as they come. He's holding it together, but almost in tears. I mean, so many people have been on these journeys with these kids. Mothers, fathers, uncles, brothers, siblings, girlfriends, partners, coaches. It means so much.
And moments of doubt those players would have had over their journey.
Jake Kelly didn't play a game last year.
Well, a lot of those kids have moved away from home, so you know it's an emotional time, and they realise that their children are about to play in what they were born to do.
Spent their life trying to do.
Exactly right.
How good was Sticks? Hugh Greenwood's stat.
Who's younger out of the father and the son? Dead ringers. Charlie Cameron. There's rumours that he's going to play elsewhere. The Crows might have to just sort of get a bigger chequebook out. He's the man we're looking at from a Telstra Tracker point of view.
We certainly are, Hayne. We've had the Telstra Tracker on him, and 5 goals tonight. Brilliant here. But this is just why he had such a good night. His work rate at speed, the ability to break the lines, almost 30 k's an hour, getting it over the back of Lockie Henderson there, ending up with a goal. He was brilliant tonight, and some of the distances that were covered were just absolutely huge. Mark Blitzarves, as expected, big K's, number 1, but alongside Zach Tui, Dan Menzel as well, and a little bit surprisingly, Geelong players, 4 out of the top 5 there, but maybe they were just chasing so much and scrambling, because this one here for me was the big one. Eddie Betts, 33 sprint efforts. That shows how much work he puts in off the ball at high intensity, at high speed to end up the great player that he is. Stevie Motlop did a lot of that too for the Cats, which was really good, and Charlie Cameron featuring as well in that top 5 group for sprint efforts.
It gives you an insight into why Eddie Betts is so hard to play on, because he's at top speed a lot.
Don't know how often Nathan Brown got to top speed, but we're going to check in with him now. Nathan Brown, sportsbet.com.au. Brownie, good evening and welcome to you. Hard not to be impressed with the Crows.
Super impressed with the Crows tonight. And our 24-hour promo, Hammer, we had one punter have 500,000 on the Crows tonight. So imagine his delight when Tommy Lynch kicked them 24 points up at the 18-minute mark of the first term. So Crows fans and punters very, very happy tonight.
And Brownie, the Giants and the Tigers tomorrow night. Tigers warm favourites?
Yeah, they certainly are. We opened them up at around $1.50. They're $1.57 at the moment, and we've had double the money on the Tigers. They've won their last 5 at the MCG. Giants have lost 10 of 11, so big, big money coming on the Tigers, particularly over the course of the game tonight, which is interesting.
And what's been the most popular same-game multi throughout the finals?
Well, there's been a very popular one tomorrow night in the Richmond game, Home, and it's Richmond to win. Josh Caddy's been flying early for him to kick the first goal, or Josh Kelly to have 30 or more disposals. He racked them up last week. That's paying around $45, and if one of those legs fails, you get your cash back up to $50 in bonus bets. But Josh Caddy has been very good early in games.
And the BYO Brownlow, not referring to alcohol?
No, it's not, mate. It's just the fact that Dustin Martin is so short at $1.05. You've got to find the value elsewhere. So you can tweet in with the hashtag BYO Brownlow, request your own bet. One of the more popular ones has been Dustin Martin, to have more votes than the entire Brisbane Lions team. So punters can then put them all on site and you can punt on whatever you like. The BYO Brownlow, it is very, very sharp.
And Brownie, you're a notoriously bad tip on the horses. Group 1 racing at Rose Hill,
That's
Group
incorrect.
Racing at Caulfield. Have you got anything for us?
Oh, I've got a lot for you tomorrow. I did it again in race 4, should win. I gave you that last time it won. And Sin to win in race 3 should be very hard to beat. But we've also launched the fold. So like a couple of weeks ago where Winks got stuck in the barrier, you can fold your bet anytime in the running. You've got a certain amount of time to do it. It'll be on your app where you figure out how long you've got to go. But it's the new product from Sportsbet. You can fold your bet in the running and it's going to be a ripper for those moments where you just get on that horse that's going to be no good.
Gamble responsibly, Nathan.
That's it, Hamish.
That's it, Hamish. You're going to go down and speak with Tommy Lonergan and Andrew Mackie. 2 phenomenal careers come to an end.
Yeah, really sad the way it's ended for them. Great careers and different careers. Andrew Mackie, obviously drafted from South Australia as a skinny kid and never put on an ounce of muscle in his entire career. And Tom Lonergan, just a wonderfully courageous journey, losing a kidney, looking like his career was done and fighting back to have a great career. I will go down and have a chat to them. They will be absolutely flat. They'll be shattered with tonight, but great of them to be able to offer up their time and have a chat in their last AFL game.
Argument, Duck, that Tommy Lonergan's been the most courageous AFL player for a decade.
Yeah, and didn't stop him going, did it? He's been a great player, as has Andrew Mackie. Great guys, fantastic players, and they'll be sorely missed at that footy club.
Let's get to the smiling coach, Don Pike.
Thanks, Ian. Don, this was obviously 2 years in the making for you. Has there been a stage where you actually felt that they lost belief, or was it always been there that they could get here?
No, I think it's built over the 2 years. I think there were times even this year, early in the year, where we were playing some good footy, but it probably wasn't as complete as we would have liked. And great credit to the players. The work they've done. As I said previously, the connection they've got allows them to perform like they did tonight, which is fantastic. And the atmosphere tonight, incredible. 53,800 Adelaide supporters. I couldn't hear the guys on the bench when I was trying to talk to guys on the bench. It was that loud, and we kicked the first 2 goals, and it was sort of reverberating through the coach's box. So massive thank you to all of our fans and supporters who've turned up tonight. And it's I know it certainly gives the players a significant lift, and creates a wonderful atmosphere to play in.
You're probably a little bit concerned with obviously the 15-day break coming in. Jeez, it must have worked wonders, whatever you guys did last week then with that training session.
Yeah, well, look, as I said yesterday, we were really confident in the preparation we'd had, and we thought we'd trained to an appropriate level. But the start was fantastic. Our guys' ability to jump out of the blocks and really get pressure on the ball and win our share, and obviously hit the scoreboard pretty significantly early. Got the game flowing the right way.
Geelong came at you in the second quarter, and you managed to hold firm, a late goal, and then you just must be thrilled with the second half.
Yeah, look, it was, we always expected they were going to come at some point, and, we were sort of, I think it was 9 goals to 1 at, midway through that second quarter, and then they kicked 3 or 4 in a row, and, you know the danger of their side with the quality of players they've got, so, we were always mindful that they were going to have their moments, and I think it was important we kept the scoreboard ticking over, which, allowed us to maintain that sort of buffer, and then the second half we ground it out, yeah.
So, Don, is that complete, or do you think there's even more left in them?
I think we'll continue to. Look, we'll learn from today. There's some things today which, I would already look at and review and go, look, we need to tidy some of those things up. There's no such thing as you're never going to be a complete side. You're going to still keep working on things individually, collectively. We've got ourselves in a great position to play for a premiership, and that's ultimately at the start of the year. That's what you aim to do, and we've still got some work to do there.
So, what do you think is significantly better than what we thought was very, very good at the start of the year when you were 6-0?
Look, I think we've probably found different ways in terms of winning. I think early in the season we were able to score quite heavily, and that was what got us in and won us games of footy. I think now we're probably more even around. We can score in different ways. We can sort of play at different levels as well. So that's all part of the learning. That's what you learn every week. Every game gives you that opportunity, and tonight's no different. As I said, there were some things which we did really well, and there's some things which we'll keep working on. Now we'll get it. Only got 1 week to worry about those things, but a lot of positives out of tonight.
That 1 week, is it enough for McGovern, or is it a road too long for him now?
Well, we'll give him every chance. I mean, he's back. He's running to a reasonable level now, and clearly he'll have to do some training at some pretty high level this week for us to feel comfortable taking him in. But I spoke to him just before, and he's in a real positive mind frame, and he'll give himself every chance to play.
Cameron and Betts, Don, I mean, they're made for grand final day. That duo.
Oh, look, they're electric. And again, our whole group is not relying on. Tonight it was Charlie and Eddie contributed significantly as well. I think Josh kicked 4, but throughout the year we're not trying to rely on one guy to hit the scoreboard. And yet they do a lot of other things around there. And Charlie hit the scoreboard really well tonight, which was pleasing. But really even contribution again. And as I've said all year, that's when we play our best footy. Is when we get a real even spread of contributors, and that's across all the phases. And when they do that, we're able to, A, maintain pressure, and B, when we win the ball, move the ball pretty efficiently.
I know the game's only just finished, but have you had time to think about how you approach next week? Do you allow the players to embrace the occasion, or how you look?
Oh, I think you have to. You know, I'm fortunate I've been there before, and you have to. It's not a normal game. It's the reality. This is the last game of the year. This is where you're playing for the premiership, and it's a different week. But you embrace the excitement of that week, and we'll go through some of the logistics of the week and what it looks like with our players early on, and then we'll concentrate on what we need to do, which is play a game of footy and win a game of footy, and that's how we'll approach it, which will be no different in any other game, even though it will be a different game. But it's exciting. That's what we play for. These games are what we play for.
On the bond between the players, obviously the club's been through a lot over a long period of time. How's that bond? How much has that played a role in your success this year?
Well, I think it's probably a little bit of the bond, a little bit of just how they've matured as a group. We do a lot of things with our playing group, which is around not only educating them how to play, but a lot of work in the space whereby how they build relationships with each other. And so some of that's through past events, and a fair chunk of that is through things we've done in the recent times, which has just allowed them to probably give more of each other to each other, and that helps build trust. And ultimately, that's what I believe is important in winning big games of footy is trust between people, that they know that the guys will get their job done.
Your midfield's been maligned. They said, you're a Patrick Dangerfield or a Bryce Gibbs Short. Yep. Those guys, Crouches and Atkins and even Seedsman and Sloan, of course, all stood up on the big stage tonight. Yeah, and they're a proud group. They've worked hard all year, and they've grown throughout the year as well. And again tonight, their energy and their pressure around the ball was just fantastic. But again, it wasn't like it was coming from one or two sources. It wasn't like Sloan had to drive it all. It was across the board. So even Huey Greenwood comes in and plays his role. So as I said, that's the pleasing part. When you get a real even contribution from all our guys, and they play the way we know they're capable of, I'm just super proud of them.
Were you quite happy with the dress rehearsal? It was hot early, and you probably expect that next week.
Oh yeah, look, it's all finals are going to be tough to win, and tonight was no different. We knew we were in for a contest. I think to our guys' credit, they jumped out really well, and were able to then hold it off. But next week will be a different game against another quality opposition. So as much as we're pleased with tonight, again, making a grand final is not what it's about. It's actually about winning the grand final, and that's what we now set our sights on doing.
What becomes more important?
Sorry, Don, you had a lot of success as a player and premiership success. Do you feel any different about coaching?
Well, it's different coaching because, the reality is, I guess the players do it. We're here as coaches, and myself and our coaching group, we try and educate them, we try and train them, we show belief in them, to let them go and do what they do and do it as well as they can. And sometimes the challenge in this time of the year is to not overcoach. Is to actually, they know it. If they don't know the game style now and they don't understand the ways we can adapt to the game, then we haven't done our job. And sometimes the coach, you want to give them more and more information, but that's sometimes not helpful. It's better just to get out of the way and let them play. And tonight we had a pretty simple focus, a few simple key points, and they were able to go out and execute those based on what we've done in previous weeks, not specifically on what we need to do tonight. They understand what creates winning for this team, and they were able to execute that tonight, which is great.
How much does a moment like tonight prepare them for the sense of occasion that Saturday will be when it's? I mean, you know what it's like that last day with that biggest crowd.
Yeah, that's the reality. I think the guys will go to sleep tonight, put their head on the pillow, and know that next week they're going to play in front of 100,000 people at the MCG. That's a given. So there'll be no surprise when we run out there and there's 100,000 there. So we'll expect that. But it's you haven't experienced it until you've experienced it. So as I said, it'll be a game of footy. It'll be a different week. We'll embrace the week and we'll prepare, as we always do, to come ready to play and perform.
Were you happy that Dangerfield started an attack? Because obviously gave you the opportunity to get that upper hand in midfield? Or?
We prepared for both, and really that was Geelong's decision. We could have tossed a coin whether he was going to start in midfield or start forward, but we had plans in place for both, and we're probably more focused on what we need to do from a midfield viewpoint and try and get some early field position and scoreboard pressure. And as I said, the crowd early was phenomenal in terms of their support. And once we kicked a couple of early goals, it was I wouldn't have wanted to be in a Geelong jumper when the crowd was up and about. It was a great atmosphere.
You mentioned Greenwood before. I see you carrying an injury.
No.
Game time. But
No.
So defensively, in terms of the way that Hartley handled Dangerfield early and the job that Tarly did on Hawkins, how pleased with those two roles?
Yeah, again, another two examples of guys that just played their role. I mean, Harto's, we know he's got some speed and obviously the strength to match someone like Dangerfield. So I thought early he was good in that space. And Tarly was really solid all night. I thought he, against the weight of a fair few inside 50s at times, I thought he held up really well.
Thanks, guys.
Just for that local guys.
Don's been there before as a player, first time as a coach. Remarkable to think for all of the players it's going to be a week that no one's experienced, so it's all new.
Yep.
Night to dream tonight, a week to dream, but a week to get it right.
Yeah, exactly right. And I love the fact that he said you do it. As much as you try to say that, you've got a plan as if it's any other week, it's not. It's grand final week. You have parade, you have a lot of stuff going on. And I know as silly as it sounds, you've got cousins, you've got everyone ringing you for tickets. Yeah. So it is a very different week. You do have to embrace it. But at the same time, enjoy it.
Remarkable. I mean, I know we've spoken about it. The opener from Leighton Hewitt was terrific, but Phil Walsh passes away. Dean Bailey passes away. They lose Jack Gunston, Kurt Tippett, Nathan Bock, Phil Davis, Patrick Dangerfield. Yeah. They've just won a prelim final by 10 goals.
Yeah. And that word, resilience. Yeah. And that was spoken about in that opener with Leighton Hewitt, and that's exactly what this club is. And it's been an almighty effort to get where they've gotten to, given all of those things that you just mentioned.
And they don't have a top 10 draft pick. The other thing that Don Pike was great on was the more we give of each other to each other, the more we trust each other, the better the relationships, the bigger the bond, the better the club.
I love the fact that, he said you don't have to overcoach. I mean, he's done a remarkable job. I mean, this is his second year and they're into a grand final. So he has to take a fair bit of credit for where this club sits.
Absolutely. Encore tomorrow, 12:30 in Adelaide. If you'd like to watch the game again, just settle yourselves in. 1 p.m. For our Victorian viewers. Not sure whether the Cats fans want to sit through it again.
I wouldn't have thought so.
But it's a massive grand final. Starts with sunrise, 9 o'clock game day. We've got some wonderful guests on. The Kick with Darcy and Lingy and Richo. Again, guests throughout the day. Superb. And then from 12:30 we head over to the MCG. On 7 and 7, mate, it is the great day of the football year, and the day itself, well, there's been so many sensational memories. Just a reminder, Chris Scott on the other side of the break and Lingy with some former premiership teammates who tonight play their final game, Tommy Lonergan and Andrew Mackie.
Cox throws it onto the left. One last roll of the dice for the Eagles! Leo Barry-Youngster! The longest premiership drought in football history is over! Here it is! Dawson spills it back over soccer. Pascal to Ablett. Big flyers wanted. Barco. Handball's over. It's a slip. Ball Chapman. And Chapman's kicked the goal. It's over. The Cats. Vindication has arrived. Away goes Michael Law. 50 metres out. Still going. 30 metres out. Oh, what play! Who would have thought the sequel would be just as good as the original? A delicate little chip for the run of Matera. Suddenly the Eagles are alive. Matera sets sail for home. But the Eagles hit the front. It may go through. It's marked by Williams. He's going to get the goal anyway. Greg Williams has got it for the Blues. Jarman again. Round the body. That'll do. Oh, that will do. And they have won their 16th premiership. And is there a better story than James Heard? Ackermanis, left foot slam. Ackermanis has kicked a goal. But the Lions have gone back to back to back. There it is. It's all over. Port Adelaide. They had the power to win. Now Joe could kick this, and he has. He's had to use 5 minutes. He's pretty live. That's what I'm talking about. Greenwald runs in. Touched on the bounce spot. Oh my goodness. To the captain. This should be sweet. A sweet goal to Cameron Ling. To Malcheski. Is that the grand final? Sydney are premiers. They've done it. What a team. That culture, the Bloods. Back to Hodge. That's a goal, I think. It is. Hodge has done it from nowhere. Gives Pickett a chance. It's over. It's all over. The drought. The Darren Wall is busted. It's 62 long years.
Grand final day, effectively Christmas Day for football lovers. The Mecca awaits the two teams. One of them will be the Adelaide Crows. The Tigers and the Giants tomorrow night. Coverage from 3:30 p.m. Just before 5, I think, the bounce. So if the Tigers can pull off what they're expected to do, but haven't done, I've got to remind Tigers fans they're not there yet, there's going to be one city in hysteria and a suburb in delirium over there in...
Expecting 97,000 now at that game tomorrow.
And I understand there's
cannot
less
wait.
than 3,000 Giants fans, which means there's 94-ish
It is
yellow and black.
It will be deafening.
Now, I've gone the Giants just on the basis that I hope it doesn't happen.
Have you had teeth whitener there? You're very bright smile.
And
in
maybe
that,
a solarium too, by the look of it.
No, I'm going to go with... I think if the Tigers can replicate the type of pressure that they had a couple of weeks ago, I think the Tigers can do it.
OK, let's go down to Cameron Lang. He made his way down to Tommy Lonergan and Andrew Mackie, their last games of two terrific careers.
Well, two great Geelong players, two great teammates of mine, but unfortunately, boys, not the way you wanted it to all, and you both had wonderful careers here. I'll start with you, Mac, but it was just a really tough night. I'm sure you had visions of finishing on such a magic moment, but not to be tonight.
Yeah, it didn't go to plan tonight, Lingy, that's for sure. It's sort of what makes footy great, isn't it? The wins to get this far and to win a premiership is so hard. You know, it's such a great competition. Crows were, you know, they were formidable tonight. They were really good. They brought their A game. To their credit, they were way too good for us. But yeah, I don't know what to say at the minute. It's disappointing, but at the same time, mate, it's the game's given so much to us both. Very thankful for everything.
And Domsy drafted together, retiring together, even though, as I said, it wasn't the moment you quite wanted it to end with, but sharing a special moment with this man, having gone the whole career together, there must be something in that, I suppose.
Yeah, look, Lee, it's a bit surreal at the moment. Like, it's disbelief, I suppose. We really did think we were a good chance to go on to next Saturday, but as Max said, it's a brutal competition, and Adelaide are a very good footy team, and they were too good for us tonight. And yeah, I mean, it's been a great 15 years or so with this bloke. We've shared so many ups and downs, so it'll be good to reflect on that over the next few days.
I heard that Joel Selwood, even just talking with some of the journalists in the room doing interviews, really emotional, talking about you two guys and the impact that you've had on the footy club. Mitch Duncan the same. The legacy that you guys pass on and what you've taught some of these young guys, I suppose that's something in time you'll be able to look back on pretty proud.
Yeah, there will be in time, Lingy. There's a lot to look back on, and you know, we'll have great memories of the footy club and the journey that it's been. You know, not only the football side of it, but as people. As I said, it's just given everything to us. The game didn't owe us anything, and we owe it everything. It's just friendships, mateship, every day rocking in. Yeah, I'll definitely miss it, but I know for a fact the kind of people that, you know, Tommy is, and the people we have around the footy club, that's what makes this club great. I've got no doubt that, you know, set in stone those next things for the next group of players. And, mate, we're not here for a long time. You've got to make the most of it when you're here. And, you know, we're just custodians of a jumper for a period of time. And, unfortunately, ours finishes up tonight.
I don't think there'll be too many more, when you talk about custodians of a jumper, more courageous than the man who you are retiring with. Your journey, Domsy, so much has been said about it and spoken about it, but the fact that you've gone on and had the career you've had, given everything you went through, is incredible and continues to inspire so many. It's probably too early to say that you can look back on that now and be proud of yourself, but surely there's a moment where you can say, gee, I pushed my body as far as it could possibly be pushed.
Yeah, I think at the moment it's probably not the time, but sure, over the next coming weeks, months, there'll be something that I'll look back on, and I know what I put my body through, and yeah, it was time.
Congratulations on a great career, mate. You're an absolute inspiration, as I said. Mac, congratulations to you on a wonderful career. Enjoy it as much as you can. I know it's not the way you both wanted to end, but from a Geelong person, thank you for both for everything that you've given to this footy club.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Well done, Lingy. And great defenders, great players, but outstanding individuals. Andrew Mackie spoke about how thankful he was for everything. He doesn't think that he deserved what he got. He owes the game everything. They're custodians of a jumper. And Tommy Lonergan, emotional and in the end choked up.
Even the way they said goodbye in the last home and away game down there at Geelong. No fanfare. That's the way they played. Super players. I mean, you look there, the games played and the amount of wins they had. I mean, they have just had unbelievable careers, premiership players. Well done to both of them.
Our researchers sent us a note earlier. So for Mac, 280 games, which is the 114th most, which, you know, it's a lot of games, but 114th. The 15th most wins amongst them. Isn't it? Amazing. So well done to Tommy Lonergan and to Andrew Mackey. Super careers. Let's get to Sam McClure, back to Carlton Draft Footy Central.
Good evening. We begin post-match Footy Central with the Gold Coast Suns coaching job. We know that Brendan McCartney has emerged as a left field candidate, but what about Gary Ayres? Coached both sides that have just played, the Cats and the Crows, and he himself has thrown his hat in the ring for the job.
Oh, I certainly would, Gaz. I'd love the challenge, and you never think you're too old, and we coach against obviously the alignments every week, and we think we hold our own, so certainly that would be a challenge, no doubt about that.
Yeah, coached Geelong and Adelaide, has been coaching Port Melbourne since 2008, who are, of course, in Sunday's VFL Grand Final against Richmond. You can see that on 7 at 2 o'clock. Brendan McCartney also in the frame. He and Jade Rawlings, who are both at Melbourne at the moment, have reportedly both been part of the Gold Coast process. Let's move on now to the Sydney fallout. Well, it was a devastating loss to the Cats and one that a lot of people didn't see coming, but they weren't 9-6. They won 15 of their next 17. It was difficult for them to maintain the rage. There's been some delistings today out of the Sydney Swans. Michael Talia is one of those, as is Sean Edwards, who has retired. Michael Talia, who left the Bulldogs in controversial circumstances, played 30 games for the Dogs and only one for Sydney, part of the delistings at the Swans today. Let's move on to the Tigers, and it's all about Tiger time at the moment. Fans turned out in their droves to see their boys train one more time before tomorrow's epic prelim against the Giants. More than 98,000 expected, and a lot of those fans, well, it's been 35 years since they last made a grand final, the first time in 14 years that they're playing in a prelim. But despite that, and despite admitting to a few nerves, the coach, Damien Hardwick, says they're only looking ahead.
No, the game doesn't know what's happened in the past. It just continues to look at what you're going to bring this week, and that's all we've firmly, had our focus on this week about what we can possibly bring to the game. But we're also really pleased with the challenge it's going to give our boys. You can either look at it as an obstacle or an opportunity. We're firmly looking at it as an opportunity, a chance to present ourselves on a big stage and play well. It's a boyhood dream for all of us, and the summit's just there. But the reality is, if you take your eyes off your feet at various stages, you can fall off pretty quickly. So, we've got a couple of weeks to go, hopefully, but the reality is we've got 4 quarters to play against a very good football side come Saturday afternoon.
That very good football side that Damien Hardwick speaks of is the Giants, and they're still hurting from last year's preliminary final loss to the Dogs. All of the talk back then, of course, was about the romanticism surrounding the Dogs and them being eventual premiers, but the Giants are still hurting from that match, and while they're not going to publicly admit it, Mark McVeigh, the assistant coach, he says it's still on their mind.
Yeah, we don't discuss last year too much. We certainly talk about that we've obviously experienced the heat and know what's coming tomorrow. So it certainly hasn't been spoken about from Leon, but I'm pretty sure internally the players will be thinking, here's our opportunity to go one step further than last year, and nothing but our best will get us there. We've played some big games here. We've had some close losses here as well. We played particularly well against Richmond a number of weeks ago where, we lost a few players. The rain came in. We were playing particularly well that day. So we've had some close losses here, but we know that our best has to come tomorrow night. And in front of a big crowd, the MCG in a prelim is what we expect.
Yeah, that record at the MCG is 1-10, but that one, well, it was a coming-of-age victory of sorts for the Giants. Back in 2014, you might remember, against the Demons, everything went wrong for them that day. Big Jono Patton went down with an ACL. Phil Davis, well, he didn't come back on after that sickening collision with Christian Salem. You can see him doing an eye test. He was in his tracksuit pretty soon. And then Callan Ward, the raging bull himself, cement head, he didn't come back on after hobbling off, yet they still went on to win by 64 points. We certainly took notice of the Giants back in 2014 and that day at the G. If they can reproduce some of that form, they'll be tough to beat. It's going to be a game of epic proportions tomorrow at the G. 98,000 expected. We at Footy Central are certainly excited. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks very much, Sammy. Big crowd, big opportunity. Cat season done. Let's get down to Chris Scott.
Chris.
Sorry, if you wouldn't mind, Steve, I might start. I'd like to start by paying tribute to a few people that have been really integral to the Geelong Footy Club over well over a decade. Steve Hocking's going to the AFL. He's one of the best people I've met in footy as a young coach and a rookie coach coming to a club, not exactly sure what I was doing. He's as good a right-hand man as one could hope for, and it's going to leave a huge void at our footy club, but it's going to be good overall for the AFL, I'm sure. Andrew Mackie is going to stay at our footy club, we hope, in some capacity, because he's just such a good football person, and he'll be very good at whatever he puts his mind to in the football sphere. Premiership player, and just a champion guy that I said to our players post-game, we all aspire in some ways to be like Mac on and off the field. He's going to be a significant loss. And Tom Lonergan, watching him go back with a flight of the ball again tonight in his last game, he virtually doesn't have any internal organs left, but he continually puts his body on the line for his mates. He's been a warrior for us, and again, the players and staff members at our club just love him. So one of the unfortunate things about footy, especially at this time of year, is that it moves on. And as much as we love those people and we'd love them to be around forever, we've got to do our very best to look forward to making life at the Geelong Footy Club as good as it can possibly be without them. I'd also like to wish Adelaide all the best. They were fantastic tonight. They were pretty much two games clear on top of the ladder with 2 games to go in the season, and I think their performance across the season well and truly justifies the position they put themselves in tonight, but they still had to get it done, and they executed extremely well. Even if you wanted to break it down a little bit to their skill level and how many goals did they kick from 45 out on the boundary line? It's not luck. It's a credit to their skill and the way they're coached. Don's done a terrific job with them, and they well and truly deserve to be where they are. And so from the Geelong Footy Club, we wish them all the best. Would you like me to elaborate on anything?
I suppose you talked about skill level. That really hurt you, didn't it, in the end? First quarter, turnovers, you'd win the ball back and then turn it straight over. Yeah,
it was both ways. So if we give our team credit, we've played some poor footy this year, but rarely has it been just giving the ball back to the opposition early in games and allowing them to score. So it was disappointing that we chose tonight against the team that punishes the most on turnovers to do it. But yeah, so we butchered some chances which gave them some really good looks. I lost count of how many 12-point plays there were early in the game, and obviously when they build that momentum, they're very hard to stop. But we didn't put enough pressure on them, and they didn't take enough risks with the ball. They were able to play very attacking footy, but pretty safe footy too. So both sides of that equation were really poor for us tonight. And then, so I'm focusing on when the game was on the line, when we had our chances in the second quarter. When it blew out late, the game changes. I don't think anyone who's analysing the game should spend too much time on that. It was really that first 60, 70 minutes of footy that counted.
So it's all made with you damned if you do and damned if you didn't, and starting Dangerfield in attack or midfield? Or?
I'm not going to spend too much thought on it. He did mark the first one that went inside 50, didn't he? But for us, it's nice to have options. Sometimes things work and sometimes they don't, and it's almost always multifaceted. I know, there are those who will search for the simple solution, and I respect the position that you've got with a bit of time pressure post-game to come to those conclusions, but I think the people that we will lean on within our footy club have the luxury of a bit more time to analyse that stuff. But yeah, look, I don't think that was the biggest factor in the game, particularly in the first half.
Chris, was a killer blow at the start, 2 goals in 2 minutes, and you were chasing your tail pretty much from then on.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to give Adelaide the first 2 goals of the game at the Adelaide Oval in a prelim final, obviously, and they were sort of opportunist goals too. It wasn't, we didn't do that much wrong. I mean, we didn't do that much right either, but it wasn't as if, structurally we were just pulled apart. They got a bit of momentum, and then we got the ball in our forward 50 and missed the shot. So, those sort of things early in the game when the game's on the line are obviously pivotal.
Does things differently, Chris Scott, doesn't he? Takes over the press conference, thanks the great servants of the club, not only the players, but Steve Hocking, who's been remarkable, and says a loss to the Cats, great for the game.
Yeah, it is great for the game. He'll do a terrific job at the AFL. He has been big for the footy club as that 2IC to Neil Baum through that period, and then obviously took over the head role himself. He will be great for the AFL, and it was good to catch up with Mac and Domsey, Tommy Lonigan, down there in the rooms. But
Choked
they were
up
both,
Tommy at the end, didn't he?
Yeah, they were both very emotional and very raw after the game. They're great men, great mates as well, and it was almost hard chatting to them. But they were quite emotional, and just down in those Geelong rooms, they are shattered. They are absolutely shattered. They'd fought so hard to get back from and try and make amends from last year's preliminary final. But sadly, they got found wanting in another preliminary final, and it's a long road to get themselves back into that position. And it feels like even from now until next year, so much of it is irrelevant until they get that opportunity to make amends in another big final. They haven't been able to do it the last 2 years.
So brutal prelim finals. Win and you get this extraordinary week and this great prize and a great opportunity. Lose, you're out.
Yep, and that stays with you until you get another opportunity, of playing finals footy again. You don't forget big losses like that.
Yeah. Time for a break. He'll wrap things up on the other side. Rory Sloane, he'll join us on game day. Belinda Sloane, his wife, is going to be hosting the Brownlow Medal red carpet on Monday night. So it's a Sloane Fest. Sunday, Monday, big opportunity for Rory on Saturday. Wrap things up on the other side. $53,000 and change, a record at Adelaide Oval. So it's 7 days and 14 hours. And Adelaide Crows will be playing either the Tigers or the Giants, full house. And tomorrow night, well, it's an opportunity for the Tigers to get through to the grand final. Next week, if they do, they're going to have to stop a side that is scoring heavily, full of run and dash, and a side that tonight put out the Cats 5 very early. 6 goals to 1 in the opening term. At one stage, they kicked 7 in a row. The Cats kicked 4 of 5, got it back to 26 points, but then it was all the Crows again, 61 points in the end. And one of the most fascinating parts of the night, Doug, was the national anthem. For the second final, the Crows took a different stance.
Yeah, they did, and you can see there. I mean, that is and we've spoken about it already, but that's a deliberate thing. And then stayed in line that little bit longer. Tex Walker took a step forward, so clearly that's something that sort of almost like, you know what, their preparation, we're ready.
They'll do that next week?
Absolutely.
What happens if the other team doesn't move?
Well, they're going to have a stare-off.
Can you imagine?
How long do you stand there?
It will happen next week in front of 100,000, of which the bulk will be Richmond fans. So Richmond have seen it twice now, once against the Giants, once against the Cats. Do you think they will hold? Yeah,
if they win.
Or the Giants. Yeah. Will they hold firm?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Although once the national anthem finishes, and if they stayed there too long, then they might get a little bit of a boo. if it is Richmond.
Yeah. Okay.
They've got to ball the ball up eventually.
Yeah.
Now, Steve, I mentioned earlier that Rory Sloane and Danger collided. Is there anything at all?
No.
At all?
No. 2 players totally committed to going at the footy, and Sloane committed the tackle initially. It's just a great collision in football that we have. Short duck, nothing.
No,
Zero.
Absolutely nothing. If anything, I know Danger was the one that came off second best there, but Sloane could have quite easily come off second best as well. I mean, it was front-on contact, so clearly there was no deliberate going for a bump.
Yep.
That's just them going for the footy.
Rory Sloane is playing in the grand final.
Yes.
Rory Sloane is on game day on Sunday. He'll be playing in the grand final. Belinda Sloane hosting the Brownlow. Just on Richo, he's the one I'm most concerned about right now in Australia. How do you reckon he's going to sleep tonight and call tomorrow?
Will not sleep.
Given that he's got a little baby and in Richmond, not a lot.
Righto. Hope you enjoyed the footy. Thanks, Duck. Thanks, Lingy. Prelim final tomorrow afternoon, 3:30 it kicks off. Charlie Cameron, brilliant tonight. What an opportunity. What a week they've got ahead of them. The Crows versus the Tigers or the Giants at the MCG next Saturday. Tigers or the Giants tomorrow on 7.